Night air crackled with energy, alive with the sounds of excited chatter and the gentle strumming of guitars warming up on stage. Samuel "Sam" Rivera stood at the edge of the crowd, his heart racing in rhythm with the thumping bass reverberating from the stage. The weight of anticipation pressed down on him. Surrounded by throngs of fans, all lost in the moment, he felt both invigorated and utterly alone. Waves of noise and laughter washed over him, but he remained trapped within the confines of his mind. The bright lights illuminated the stage, casting a halo around George Strait as he emerged, guitar in hand. The world erupted. Sam's breath caught as he watched the legendary country singer, his idol, take center stage. George's voice soared above the crowd, each note echoing the sentiments of love and heartache that had become the soundtrack of Sam's life. Suddenly he felt the familiar warmth of a flower, a single daisy nestled in his palm, a gesture he had clutched tightly since arriving. Should I? The thought flickered like a candle in a storm. Should I throw it? Should I give it to him? Even now his heart raced at the thought of brave action. The swell of the crowd seemed to dare him forward, as if each cheer was a nudge toward courage. Doubt crept in, whispering voices of ridicule from the past, memories of laughter that had echoed through the hallways of his school, making him feel small and unseen. As George sang the final line of "Amarillo by Morning," the air pulsed with longing. Struggling against the tide of worry, Sam took a breath, summoning every ounce of resolve. Suddenly he surged toward the front, his feet moving almost independently of his mind. The crowd parted like water, a blur of faces that were both strangers and allies in this moment. Standing before George, the distant roar of the audience faded into silence. For a heartbeat, nothing else existed. Just him and the man who had unknowingly carried his burdens and dreams through countless nights of solitude. "Here," Sam said, his voice a mere whisper, trembling as he extended the flower toward George. The crowd gasped collectively. Shock and vulnerability painted his cheeks crimson as time felt suspended. He felt a mixture of pride and disbelief coursing through him. A warm smile spread across George's face, genuine and bright. It transformed the moment. He accepted the flower with both hands, nodding in appreciation as if to say, "I see you." In that fleeting moment, the world outside ceased to matter. Sam felt real, truly for the first time, connection sparking like fireflies around them. The music faded into a silence that was charged with meaning, and as George raised the flower to his guitar, the celebration began anew. Sam's heart swelled, both exhilaration and trepidation swarming within him. He trembled, not from fear, but from an overwhelming sense of bravery, daring to step into the light after so long spent in the shadows. As George broke into another song, one that echoed the spirit of resilience, Sam found himself drifting back into the crowd, yet something had undeniably shifted within. He was no longer simply an invisible boy with dreams. Instead, he was the boy who had dared to connect even for a moment. Yet a cloud of uncertainty brushed against his newfound courage. Could that be enough to carry him forward, away from the fears that had kept him so secluded? For tonight the weight of self-doubt lifted, if only slightly, as he joined in the chorus, the voices surrounding him becoming one. But the question lingered in his heart. Was this moment just a fleeting spark, or the flicker of a flame that could grow? Sam leaned against the cool wooden railing of his porch, the setting sun casting golden hues across the sky. In the distance, leaves rustled in the gentle breeze, carrying whispers of summer's end. Clutching his guitar, he let memories wash over him, each chord echoing the enchantment of his childhood. "Come on, Sam, sing with me." Clara's laughter, bright and joyful, filled the air as she twirled in their small living room. Sam, barely 6, watched in awe as she belted out George Strait's latest hit. Those weekends, spent curled up together on the faded couch while the radio played their favorite songs, were a sanctuary. Clara's voice mixed with George's melodies created a world where worries faded away. In those glorious moments, Sam felt seen, filled with hope. As Clara sang, she nurtured his budding love for music, turning their home into a concert hall of dreams. They would harmonize and create little tunes in a sweet bubble of happiness that he clung to dearly. But as he grew older, the laughter dimmed. Amidst school hallways, his love for music became a target for ridicule. "You really think you can sing, Sam? Get real." Their taunts were shattering, driving him to withdraw and retreat into shadows, suffocated by the noise of their laughter. As years slipped by, the boy who had once radiated joy succumbed to fear. His guitar became a relic, gathered dust in his closet alongside dreams left unpursued. He watched as classmates blossomed, blending into the colors of youth while he faded into the background, yearning for connection, but unsure how to reach out. Yet, throughout the solitude, George Strait's songs became his lifeline. Sam found solace in the melodies that reflected his heart, longing, love, and resilience. Each lyric offered a refuge, embracing the emotions he struggled to voice. Some days were harder than others. In the safety of his room, he played softly, the strumming echoing the cheerful days spent on the porch with his mother. But as self-doubt settled in, he sank deeper into silence, feeling his dreams slip further from reach. A familiar voice jolted him from his thoughts. "Hey Sam, you ready?" It was Javier, his best friend, always a source of light and laughter. Despite their own insecurities, Javier's enthusiasm often pulled Sam out of his shell. What's the plan?" Sam asked, attempting to mask his apprehension as they walked toward the diner, which buzzed with the lively energy of the community. "I was thinking we could jam and hit open mic night next week," Javier suggested, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Everyone loves George's songs. We could write something too." Open mic. Sam felt anxiety spike at the thought of performing. He couldn't dismiss the doubt. "Yeah, you were great the last time we played together," Javier encouraged, but Sam could barely muster a smile, the fear creeping back in. The diner's comfort greeted them, with the rich aroma of pancakes mingling with laughter and chatter. Sam loved this place. It felt familiar, a safe bubble amidst the chaos of life. He was wrapped in the warmth of shared stories and friendship until he noticed an elderly musician at the counter, plucking gently at his guitar. Intrigued, Sam and Javier approached. The man's fingers danced over the strings, filling the air with a tune that felt nostalgic, familiar. "Good to see young folks appreciate the classics," the musician remarked, his voice deep and rich. "Remember, the true magic in music is staying true to yourself. There's always noise out there, but it's the real moments that matter." Sam hung on each word, absorbing the wisdom. "How do you find that truth?" he asked, his curiosity bubbling to the surface. "Vulnerability, son. Don't be afraid to show your heart. People connect to the deepest parts of you, not the perfect notes. Share your song, and you'll find your family in the music," the man replied, meeting Sam's eyes with a knowing smile. Those words shone a light on the darkness Sam had felt for so long. He glanced at Javier, whose expression mirrored his own sense of inspiration. The walls of doubt crumbled a little. If honesty could resonate with a stranger, perhaps it could help him reclaim his voice. That night, sitting in his quiet room, Sam picked up his guitar once more, the familiar weight feeling comforting in his lap. Surrounded by shadows, the echoes of past fears began to quiet. Gritting his teeth, he closed his eyes and focused. The journey to rediscovering his roots had begun, with a sprinkle of hope igniting a flicker of resolve. As he strummed, melodies filled the air, weaving together his fears and dreams. Ready to shape a new narrative, Sam began to craft his own song, the words flowing like sunlight breaking through clouds, illuminating a path toward the courage he had been seeking. At that moment, he wasn't just a boy to be overlooked. He was a boy ready to embrace the gift of music, his music. The sun rose over Sam's small town, spilling light across the streets and casting shadows that danced playfully on the pavement. He sat at the edge of his bed, guitar resting on his lap, the notes from last night still echoing in his mind. The spark of hope ignited a fire of creativity, rekindling his long-dormant passion. Today was the day he would take the leap. As he prepared for the open mic night at the diner, excitement mixed with anxiety. Sam's heart raced each time he thought about standing in front of people, sharing the song he had begun to craft. A song that was not merely an arrangement of chords. It was a piece of him. It was a story, one that spoke to the struggles he faced and the bravery he sought. "Sam, are you almost ready?" Javier called from outside, his voice a blend of teasing and encouragement. "Yeah, I'm on my way," Sam replied, glancing at himself in the mirror. With a deep breath, he ran a hand through his hair and adjusted the collar of his shirt. Building the courage to step into the spotlight felt monumental, but he remembered the musician's words about vulnerability and connection. He knew that the only way to bridge the gap between fear and bravery was to be honest with himself and everyone in the room. The diner was buzzing as they arrived, vibrant chatter filling the air. The familiar scent of coffee and fresh pastries welcomed them, wrapping around him like a warm embrace. Stepping inside, Sam was engulfed by laughter and conversations. With each passing moment, the din of voices shifted from comforting to overwhelming. His stomach knotted, each laugh and cheer echoing like a reminder of the scrutiny he feared. "Hey, let's grab a table," Javier said, nudging him forward. They weaved through the crowd, finally settling at a small table near the stage. After a while, the host, a jovial woman named Mary, took center stage. "Welcome everyone to another open mic night. We've got some fantastic talent lined up, so let's kick this off." Sam's heart drummed in his chest. It was happening. He felt a mix of excitement and dread wash over him. He watched as the first performer stepped up, an older man who started to sing a ballad that wrapped around the room and tugged at heartstrings. As he played, the audience leaned in, every person captivated by the story unfolding before them. With every note, Sam felt a stirring inside him, a reminder of what brought him here. He took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of the lights overhead. Finally, it was time for him to join the ranks of those brave enough to share their voice. "Sam, you ready?" Javier's enthusiasm cut through Sam's haze of nerves. "Not sure, but I can't turn back now," he replied, standing slowly and taking a step toward the stage. His foot felt heavy, but determination propelled him forward. As he approached the microphone, he caught sight of familiar faces in the audience, friends and strangers alike. Each face looked encouraging, willing him to take the leap. Gripping the neck of his guitar, he took a moment to center himself, recalling the passion that ignited his heart not so long ago. With a few soft strums, a hush fell over the crowd. Sam's voice trembled at first, but as he began to sing the words he had carefully crafted, words laced with vulnerability and truth, the music poured from his heart. It was raw, unfiltered, and entirely his own. "I've been walking this road trying to find my way home, lost in shadows, alone. But I've got a spark deep down in my soul. I'll rise up. I'll take control." The crowd listened intently, swaying softly to the rhythm of his song. Sam poured every ounce of emotion into the performance, drawing from memories of laughter, pain, and the love of music that had always been there, waiting to be unleashed. As he sang, the fear that had clung to him seemed to melt away, replaced with a sense of belonging. He made eye contact with Javier, who beamed with pride, and with the musician from the diner, who nodded encouragingly. As he reached the final chorus, the melody soared, and Sam felt the room fill with an energy that embraced him. "I'll find my voice. I'll share my song. Together we'll rise. We're where we belong." When the last note faded, a moment of silence followed, and then the crowd erupted into applause. A wave of relief washed over him, mingling with exhilaration. He had done it. He had shared a piece of his soul, and the approval of others felt like an invitation home. Stepping down from the stage, he was met by Javier's embrace. "You were amazing, man. I told you, you just needed to trust yourself." "I can't believe I actually did it," Sam replied, his smile wide, indescribable joy radiating from within. It felt real. The musician approached too, his eyes gleaming with pride. "You've got something special, kid. Keep sharing that gift. The world needs your voice." Those words settled deeply within Sam, wrapping around his heart like a warm blanket. Tonight was a turning point, a departure from the shadows he had long inhabited. As laughter and music continued to fill the diner, Sam realized he was no longer searching for his voice. He had begun to find it, and it was only the beginning of a beautiful journey. The next chapter awaited, steeped in promise and possibilities yet to unfold. The following weeks were a blur of change for Sam. Each morning he woke up with a new resolve, a fire ignited within him. The echo of that first performance lingered in his mind, wrapping around his spirit like sunlight breaking through clouds. His guitar became an extension of himself, a way to articulate everything he had bottled up for so long. As the weeks passed, he found his rhythm, a daily ritual of strumming, composing, and even dreaming a little bolder. With Javier's encouragement, they began meeting more often to jam, brainstorming lyrics and melodies that reflected their own lives and experiences. Their friendship deepened, forged in shared laughter and the honest rawness of creating together. One idyllic Saturday afternoon, they set up on Javier's back porch, the gentle Texas breeze creating a soothing backdrop to their music. Sunlight filtered through the mesquite trees, casting dappled shadows on the wooden deck. You remember that song you played last month? Javier asked, his fingers dancing over his own guitar. The one about finding your way? It gave me chills. Yeah, I remember, Sam replied, his voice barely above a whisper, as he pulled the paper with his handwritten lyrics from his pocket. It's still a work in progress, though. Why don't we try something new? Maybe not just about finding your way, but about embracing where you are right now, Javier suggested, eyes glinting with excitement. Sam nodded, feeling a rush of inspiration. A sense of belonging rooted itself deeper within him. We could write about living in the moment. How about something like The Beauty of Now? Exactly, let's make it feel alive, Javier replied. They both turned their focus back to the song, fingers gliding over strings, their melodies merging into a vibrant symphony of newfound joy. As they played, time slipped away, lost in music and laughter. But as their enthusiasm peaked, a sudden vibration in Sam's pocket shattered their focus. It was a text from Clara. Can we meet? Need to talk. The simple messages felt like a punch to the gut, and doubt began to creep in again. The bond they once had felt fragile, these past months of silence looming heavy between them. Everything all right? Javier asked, noticing the shift in Sam's demeanor. Yeah, it's just Clara wants to meet. I haven't talked to her in ages. A mix of anxiety and longing washed over Sam, recalling how Clara had always been his first audience, the one who cheered him on unconditionally. Maybe it's time, Javier said, a supportive hand on Sam's shoulder. Just be honest. You found your voice and maybe it'll bring you back together. With that encouragement, Sam agreed to meet Clara the next day at the local park. As he arrived, the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in soft pinks and oranges. Nerves buzzed in his stomach, anticipation and fear swirling together. He spotted her sitting on a park bench, her silhouette familiar yet distant. She looked up as he approached, her eyes reflecting emotions too complex to decipher. Hey, Clara, he managed, offering a nervous smile. Hey, Sam, she replied, her voice soft but warm. There was a pause, heavy with unspoken words. I've missed you. Yeah, me too, he admitted, unsure where to begin. I heard you sang at the diner. Javier told me all about it. I'm really proud of you, Clara said, her smile genuine. Sam's heart swelled at her words. Thanks. It was freeing. A deep breath steadied him as he prepared to be vulnerable. I'd been writing more, and I realized that a lot of what I was missing was being honest about who I am and what I want to say. Clara nodded, her eyes searching his. I've been thinking about that too. About us, I mean. After everything, I wasn't sure we'd even, connect again. Me neither, Sam confessed, feeling the weight of their past. But I want to try. I want to reconnect with you. I miss our music, our talks, everything. I miss that too, she admitted, and in that moment something shifted. They both seemed to draw closer together, bridging the distance that fear had created. I've been scared, not just about you, but about myself. I lost sight of what mattered, Sam said, vulnerability spilling forth as he opened up about his struggles, the fear of failure, the doubts that had haunted him. But Clara smiled softly, understanding reflected in her eyes. You don't have to be scared anymore, Sam. You have a gift and I've seen it grow in you. You're not that scared boy anymore. You're finding your way. The words swept over him like a balm, soothing wounds he didn't know still existed. In that moment, beneath the vast expanse of the evening sky, Sam felt a rebirth of sorts, layer after layer of self-doubt peeling away. Do you remember the songs we used to write together? Clara asked. I'd love to get back to that. To create again, to share music. Sam felt an unexpected thrill at her suggestion. Absolutely. I've got some new ideas I'd love to explore with you. It feels like the melodies are finally flowing again. As they wrapped their conversation, laughter and heartfelt reminiscing filled the air around them, each moment solidifying their bond once more. Clara, with her bright spirit, and Sam, grounded in newfound resilience, found their way back to each other. They left the park that day, not as two distant friends, but as partners ready to conquer the uncharted territories of their talents and dreams. Before long, Sam stood once more on the diner stage, surrounded by friends, family, and community. Clara had joined him, her guitar in hand, and together they began to weave a new story filled with comfort, joy, and resilience. As the music enveloped them, Sam realized the journey was not just about finding his voice. It was about sharing that voice with those who mattered most. The rebirth he had sought had finally blossomed, the chords of hope resonating not only within him, but in the hearts of others, weaving together the tapestry of connection they all yearned for. With each note they played, Sam knew that this was just the beginning. The beauty of now unfolded like a well-loved song, a melody stitched with the threads of courage and love, a harmony that would guide them into the future. As the weeks passed since Clara and Sam rekindled their musical partnership, laughter and joyful melodies filled their days once more. They spent countless evenings on the familiar porch, crafting new songs that reflected their journeys, emotions, and dreams. Each strum of the guitar deepened their bond, creating an unshakable connection forged in shared vulnerability. However, as the excitement settled, the weight of responsibility began to loom large. Clara faced the mounting pressures of her impending graduation, a reality that pushed against her dreams. The importance of academic success overshadowed the freedom of expression they had once cherished together. Sam too struggled with balancing his growing passion for music against the demands of school and personal obligations. One humid afternoon, while practicing in Clara's living room, she suddenly paused mid-song, her expression troubled. "Sam, can we take a break for a bit?" she asked, her voice flat. "Sure," he replied, his heart racing with the anticipation of what might come next. Setting down his guitar, he studied her closely. "What's on your mind?" Clara fidgeted with the strings, an unsettling tension hanging in the air. "I've been feeling overwhelmed lately. Between school and everything else, it's just too much." Sam's chest tightened. He hadn't realized the extent of her feelings. "What do you mean?" he asked gently, encouraging her to open up. "I love creating music with you, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm losing myself in the chaos. I need to focus on my future, but it's hard to even think about that with everything swirling around me," she confessed, a hint of despair shaping her voice. "Believe me, I know how it feels," Sam said, summoning his own struggles. "We're both carrying a lot right now, but maybe we can share it. Music was a way for us to escape together." She looked away, her expression mixed with yearning and sadness. But what if it doesn't work out? What if it's not a viable path? His heart ached at her words, feeling like a cold wind sweeping through the warmth of their bond. "But we can't know unless we try. Music doesn't just define who we want to be, it connects us to our shared experiences. I do want to believe in it," she replied, her voice wavering. "But I'm scared of disappointment. What if I fail?" Sam searched for a sign, a flicker of hope. "Clara, we've always supported each other. We can navigate this together. Even amid the pressures, we have to protect our music. We've created something special, and it's worth fighting for." Their conversation hung in the air like a thick fog. He reached out, squeezing her hand. After a moment, Clara nodded, but the worry still creased her brow. Days turned into weeks, and the stresses of life began to fracture the unity they had built. Schoolwork consumed Sam's evenings, while Clara faced escalating academic pressures. Their joyful jam sessions shifted into brief moments, squeezed between responsibilities, and the laughter that once accompanied their music seemed to fade into distant memory. One evening, exhaustion clung to Clara's shoulders as she sat on the porch. Sam could sense the struggle in her expression. "Hey, you okay?" he asked cautiously, sensing the weight she carried. "I don't know, Sam. I'm just feeling lost," she admitted, staring off into the fading light. "Everything seems too big right now. Remember why we started?" he prompted, desperately trying to remind her of their shared passion. "What if it's not enough?" she replied, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Silence filled the space between them, a tension thick with vulnerability. "A break?" Sam finally said, feeling the sting of those words. "Does that mean you're thinking about stepping away?" "I don't know," Clara murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "With school and preparing for the future, I need time to think. I need to figure things out. Clara, I don't want this to be goodbye." The feeling of impending loss gripped him. "We have something good here, something worth holding on to." "I know." Clara met his gaze, but the uncertainty strained the connection between them. "But I can't pretend everything is okay when it feels so heavy." Days stretched into what felt like a lifetime apart. Sam poured himself into writing, creating songs that echoed loneliness and regret. Each note and lyric contained bursts of longing, woven together with flickers of hope. It was a cathartic release, reflecting their historical bond, but also a painful reminder of the chasm that had sprung up in between. One day, as Sam sat in his room thinking about Clara, he made a conviction. He needed to reach out. Music had always healed their wounds, and it couldn't be the thing that separated them now. He decided to perform at the diner once more, the very place where their journey had ignited. With trembling hands, he adjusted the microphone and set the guitar against his body, a familiar comfort washing over him. As the crowd settled, Sam took a deep breath, letting memories of their time together filter through his mind. He launched into a heartfelt song that blended nostalgia with the hope for a brighter future. In the rush of life where dreams may fade, I keep searching for the light you made, he sang, letting the emotions spill forth. With each lyric, he felt the past intertwining with the present, the bond they shared, the dreams pursued, and the love found in music. The audience listened intently, their bodies swaying in rhythm, creating a palpable energy that lifted Sam's spirit. As the final chord faded, relief washed over him, a sense of catharsis that had been a long time coming. He left the stage feeling lighter, yet still acutely aware of the absence Clara's presence had left in his life. With renewed determination, he resolved to bridge that distance, to reignite what they once had. In the days after the performance, Sam allowed hope to shape his thoughts. He realized he didn't have to surrender to fear and uncertainty. Instead, he could fight for their shared passion. Deep down, he believed that their music would surface stronger and more beautiful than ever. Despite the obstacles before them, Sam clung to the lessons of vulnerability and connection they had once championed together. He knew the storm they faced would inevitably pass, and perhaps they could emerge from it renewed and ready to create without restraints. With renewed clarity, Sam took a breath and began to reach out again. He was determined to rebuild not only their music, but the bond that had brought them together in the first place. The journey ahead would be challenging, but it was a journey he hoped to share with Clara once more. The dawn of a new day arrived, and the world felt charged with possibility. Sam stood by his window, watching the sun spill golden light into his room, illuminating the dust dancing in the air. With purpose in his heart, he took a deep breath, resolving that today he would reach out to Clara. The melody of their friendship had remained alive within him, and he yearned for the return of their music, both the notes and the laughter. He grabbed his guitar and made his way to Clara's house. The air held a warm spring promise, scented with fresh grass and blooming wildflowers. As he approached her porch, memories flooded his mind, late-night writing sessions, sharing dreams, and the sweet sound of their harmonies weaving through the air like a golden thread of connection. Knocking gently, he waited, the anticipation thrumming in his veins. Clara opened the door, and for a moment they just stood there, taking each other in. Her eyes softened, revealing a hint of the warmth Sam cherished deeply. "Hey," she said, a hitch in her voice so unlike the vibrant cadence he remembered. "Hey," Sam replied, his heart racing. "I've missed you." "I've missed you too," she responded, a small smile appearing before fading slightly. I've been thinking about everything, about us." They both hesitated, words suspended in the space between them, a mixture of hope and uncertainty unfolding like the petals of a blooming flower. Sam swallowed hard, needing to break the silence. "I played at the diner the other night. It felt like, I don't know, like I finally let it all out. I want to create again, Clara, with you." Clara's expression was thoughtful, and an undeniable spark flickered in her eyes. "I saw a video of your performance. It was beautiful, Sam. You really have something special." Encouraged by her acknowledgement, he pressed on. "I want to work on new songs together, like we used to. We can find a way to balance everything. Music doesn't have to take a back seat. We can chase our dreams while still keeping our creativity alive. It doesn't have to be all or nothing." Clara stepped back, allowing him inside. The familiar warmth of her home greeted him, filled with memories of laughter and musical echoes. "I've been struggling," she finally said, as they settled into the inviting space of her living room. "I've been afraid of failure, of letting everyone down. It's hard juggling everything: school, family expectations, and music." "Life is messy, I get that," Sam replied, empathy washing over him as he shared her burden. "But we've always supported each other. Let's not lose that, okay?" Clara's lips curved softly, an acknowledgement of their bond starting to bloom again. "You're right. I don't want to lose our connection, and I don't want to abandon music. I just didn't know how to navigate it all. Let's work on it together, Sam suggested eagerly, his heart swelling with possibility. We can start small. What do you say to writing just one song together? No pressure, just you and me like old times. After a moment's pause, Clara nodded slowly, her smile returning. I'd love that. With newfound energy, they moved to the porch, guitars in hand, the sun casting a golden glow around them like a sacred space. Sam felt excitement spark within him as Clara tuned her strings, anticipation swirling in the air closer than ever. Let's create something that reflects where we are right now, Clara suggested, her voice energizing him. Something about struggle. We both know too well how that feels, Sam added, strumming his guitar softly, enjoying the soothing rhythm of companionship. Yeah, we should express vulnerability, but also hope, she replied, and they began tossing ideas back and forth, their words flowing as easily as the melodies began to take shape. In that sacred space of creation, the world around them faded away. They poured their hearts into the new song, their laughter blending with every chord they played. Memories intertwined with their present moment, each note echoing shared dreams and unspoken truths. Hours passed, and the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the horizon with ribbons of orange and pink. Their song began to take shape, and with each verse, they felt the weight of their worries lift, leaving only hope and camaraderie. I can't believe we've waited this long, Clara laughed, playfulness lighting up her eyes as she caught he himself grinning. Maybe it took all this to realize how much we need each other, Sam replied, his voice earnest, filled with the strength of their renewed connection. As they finished their song, they looked at each other, realizing what they had created together was a new beginning. In that moment, they were not only partners but souls intertwined with a shared destiny. Let's perform this at the diner, Clara suggested with enthusiasm. It's time we share our struggles and our victories together. Absolutely, Sam affirmed, his heart racing with excitement. Each practice brought them closer, the transformation palpable with each shared note. They discovered rare beauty within the vulnerability, both within themselves and within each other. And so, as they prepared for their next performance, Sam and Clara found that the storm they had weathered could give way to a fresh start, one woven with resilience, creativity, and the undeniable power of genuine connection. They were ready to face whatever the future held, together, side by side, ready to share their voices and the music that flowed as a reflection of their hearts. The night of the performance arrived, and anticipation buzzed in the air at the diner. The familiar sense of fried food and freshly brewed coffee filled the space, mingling with the sound of laughter and chatter. Sam stood backstage, his heart racing. This was it. He could feel the weight of their new song pressing against his chest, pulsating with the struggles and triumphs they had poured into it together. Clara appeared beside him, her eyes glimmering with excitement, yet a hint of nervousness flickered across her face. "Are you ready?" she asked, her voice steady but soft. "Ready as I'll ever be," Sam replied, taking a deep breath and allowing reassurance to wash over him. "We've worked hard for this, Clara. Whatever happens, we'll face it together." With the final strums of a warm-up song reverberating from the stage, their performances began. Other local acts showcased their talents, filling the diner with sound and soul as patrons clapped and cheered. With each passing act, the crowd swelled, excitement building toward Sam and Clara's debut of their new song. Clara squeezed Sam's hand as they walked out to the stage, the spotlight illuminating them in a halo of light. Facing the familiar crowd, friends, family, and soul-searching strangers, Sam felt his nervousness slip away, replaced by a deep sense of purpose. They had something to share, a story that transcended their individual journeys. Taking their places, Clara smiled out at the audience, her warmth radiating like a beacon. "Thank you all for being here tonight," she began, her voice vibrant and clear. "We're excited to share something special with you. This song is about our struggles, our fears, and ultimately the hope that binds us all together." Sam felt Clara's spirit infuse the atmosphere, guiding him through the first few strums of their song. The chords resonated in the air, a powerful blend of melody and storytelling. As they began to sing, their voices entwined, creating an anthem not just for themselves, but for everyone listening. "In the rush of life where dreams may fade, together we find the light we've made," they sang harmoniously, the lyrics spilling forth like a cathartic release. With each passing verse, the audience swayed, captivated by the raw honesty woven into their words. Sam glanced into the crowd, and he met the eyes of familiar faces, friends who had supported them through thick and thin, family members who had always believed in their talents. And in that moment, a subtle shift occurred. Voices grew louder, clapping evolved into cheers, and their energy fueled the performance, a beautiful dance of connection and community. As they continued, Sam and Clara's hearts soared, the bond they had fought for shining brighter than ever. They fed off the crowd's enthusiasm, singing with all their hearts. Each chorus contained layers of vulnerability, but also strength, reminding them that they were not alone in their struggles. When they reached the final notes, Clara's gaze met Sam's, and in that glance a world of understanding passed between them. They swayed together, blending their voices for one last powerful chorus, as the diner's atmosphere erupted in applause. As the last note faded into silence, a moment of breathlessness enveloped the room. Then rapturous applause broke through, filling the air with overwhelming joy. Their friends cheered, hollering encouragement, and the warmth of appreciation washed over them like sunbeams through clouds. "We did it!" Clara exclaimed, as they took their bows, adrenaline surging through her. "Yeah, we did," Sam replied, exhilaration bubbling within him. It felt as if the storm they had weathered had given way to this incredible moment, a testament to their dedication and hard work. Backstage, the excitement simmered, and they left the stage feeling lighter, their souls intertwined with a renewed commitment to themselves and to each other. There was an understanding that struggles would come, but so would joy. "It's just the beginning," Clara said, her voice laced with excitement. "We have so many stories left to tell." Sam nodded, his heart full of gratitude and enthusiasm. "Together, we can create so much more." As they hugged tightly, surrounded by friends and family, Sam knew their journey was far from over. The world ahead was full of uncertainty, but the future had opened up, woven with possibilities. With Clara at his side, they were ready to chase their dreams, writing the next chapters of their lives, together through every note and every challenge, sharing the music of their hearts.